Right, so Keir Starmer has struck again with another petty attack on a trade union official by the Labour Party, to whom an entire region of the Fire Brigades Union, an affiliated union, has downed tools in effect as far as campaigning for Labour goes over it. The crime committed by said official, liking socialist posts on social media. Well, God forbid an affiliate and long-standing active campaigner for the Labour Party, as we're told he was, dare to share and like values that a democratic socialist party is supposed to uphold. It's the Fire Brigade Union Northeast region that is going on strike from the Labour Party in a letter sent to the party 4 days ago, which reads, "The Fire Brigades Northeast Region Executive writes to lodge our disdain and anger at the treatment of one of our senior regional officials. To comply with confidentiality, we will not name the official. However, we believe they have been attacked and investigated by the Labour Party for liking tweets relating to his socialist beliefs and pointing out the abhorrent treatment of striking nurses. The contributions by our official are in keeping with the rules of the FBU, and notably the Fire Brigades Union is part of the working class movement, and linking itself with the international trade union and labour movement, has as its ultimate aim the bringing about of a socialist system of society. The official in question has been an activist and campaigner for the Labour Party for many years. They have actively campaigned for Labour MPs, councillors and a Labour government, and have spent thousands of hours on the campaign trail for many Labour Party candidates. As an elected regional official representing thousands of firefighters across the northeast of England, he has been tireless in his campaign for social justice and the rights of workers. We shall not stand back and let one of our most senior trade union officials in the northeast be attacked and targeted in this way. We urge you to support the FBU in this matter and ask for your solidarity, something which our union has offered to members of Parliament and the local CLP candidates for many years. We write to inform you that in the short term we will be standing down from all campaigning and attendance at Labour Party events. We do this not only in support of our official, but also in direct dispute with the continued attack on members with socialist values and particularly trade union members. We are recalling our regional committee to discuss future interventions and action." Now, when I read this, the thought that crossed my mind was, well, are we seeing potentially the beginnings of the rumblings of another trade union veering towards disaffiliation? Labour lost the Bakers Union, the bfawu, back in September of 2021, and this was a founding union that stuck with the Labour Party even through the Blair years. But Starmer sent them off before he's even reached power, so that says a lot. The Fire Brigade Union themselves affiliated to Labour in the 1920s, but they only returned to the Labour fold, re-affiliating under Jeremy Corbyn after having left in the new Labour years under Blair. They disaffiliated whilst Blair was in power. The driver for them then was no support when firefighters dared ask for a pay rise, which sounds rather familiar, doesn't it? Well, the FBU nearly followed the Bakers out of the door in 2021, but they didn't then. How much longer can they stand Blair on steroids, though, when normal strength Blair drove them out before? The FBU are demonstrating the very meaning of the word solidarity in their actions up in the northeast, and it behoved the union to share that stance nationally if they're to put pressure on Starmer to pack this factional purging and power trip he's on in, because, as is clearly on show, it is still happening. Another example crossed my desk the other day. An officer in the Labour International CLP, that's the biggest constituency Labour Party of them all, comprising all members of the Labour Party that no longer live in the UK, but now the disabilities officer of that CLP is currently being investigated. This really does have to be one of the most pathetic reasons for an internal Labour Party investigation ever, because all this officer has done was inform his CLP of the death of Irish poet Kevin Higgins. Why was this an issue? Because Higgins dared to be a socialist and had dared in life to have stood up to the purging going on under Team Keith and had been expelled from the party for it. Now it's an offence to mention former members and socialists even after their deaths, it would seem. But of course, the supporters of all this Orwellian bonkersness tell us, if you don't back us, you're helping the Tories. Screw that. Of course, there's always a reminder that Starmer used to say down with this sort of thing, or words to that effect. And North of Tyne Mayor, now independent candidate for the Northeast Metro Mayor post, who might now attract some support from members of this FBU regional office, has reminded us of Starmer's former words in a tweet, saying in the 2020 leadership campaign, Keir Starmer said, "Disciplining people to be united is going nowhere." I agree. You don't build a broad-based movement that can deliver for working-class communities by vindictively sidelining dedicated party members and unions. Keir Starmer needs to stop breaking his promises. Solidarity with the FBU Northeast for taking a stand. Jamie Driscoll, of course. Of course, Starmer said a lot of things he didn't mean in 2020 when running to be Labour leader, like everything he ever said at the time. Starmer's made it clear via his actions, not his words, that he wants wealthy donors and not members or trade unionists. He didn't give a toss when the bakers went. They're only a small union. They didn't give us a lot of money. They don't matter, seemed to be the message at the time. Another union like the FBU going would probably garner much the same attitude. It should, however, be a massive wake-up call to people still fixating on voting for Starmer as if he means to change anything when all the evidence to the contrary is already there, flashing up like a neon sign. I'd like to see more solidarity from other trade unions as well over all of this, especially from my own union, Unite, who are seen to be far too close to Starmer under the general secretaryship of Sharon Graham. It's high time Starmer was no longer put on notice and had notice issued. Hey, Sharon! I won't hold my breath there, though. Solidarity to the FBU and to those affected by the purge, with the way Labour is going now, it should be seen as a badge of honour, quite frankly, that you stand for what you believe in and your own principles and have the conviction to not be cowed by people like Keir Starmer and his ilk, miserable worms that they seem to be, whose principles are on sale to the highest bidder, who conned his way into the Labour Party top job and is decimating the change and hope that party once represented. We all need to go elsewhere because this is a waste of time, effort and money to campaign and fund while Starmer still leads it. With little hope of anyone different coming in behind him, he won't change. Perhaps the Labour Party is beyond that as well. So we need to change who we support. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the video useful. Please like, share and subscribe if you did. More content out daily. Meanwhile, here's another video recommendation for you where the Unite leadership have been directly linked to getting showings of the Corbyn film, The Big Lie Band, showing they seem to be more and more on Starmer's side than ours these days. And I'll hopefully catch you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.